53. How we doing, Hawk Hill, Philadelphia? Just trying to stay fit and ready for our guys during this shutdown. Here's our next three questions for the Deep Three. First one comes from Richard. He asked this via Facebook. It has to do with recruiting. Good luck, coach. This shutdown is probably hard on your plans to strengthen the team through recruits or transfers. Which route is most likely for 2020 and beyond? Richard, this is a great question. And the times that we're finding ourselves in right now is really making it hard to build connections, which is what recruiting is partially about, that and evaluation. My time in the NBA really taught me a lot of things. One of the things that has carried over into the college world here is just I've become a better student of film evaluation. You just watch so much video in the NBA that you learn how to zoom in and understand things and evaluate a little bit better than maybe I was before that experience. So we've carried that into our staff right now. And our staff is doing a pretty good job of breaking up film in a way that gives us a great evaluation of the prospects that are out there. And you just try to do your best. I mean, we're not going to hit it on every recruit. I hate to disappoint everyone. We're going to make some mistakes. It's just part of it. Hopefully we minimize that because we're very diligent in our understanding of the players' games and their character and their ability as students, and whether, more importantly, they're the right fit for Hawk Hill. As to your point of the question, like, is it going to be recruits or is it going to be transfers? I think we sit in an amazing space for transfers. We play in a large media market. We play in a high major league. We've got incredible history at St. Joe's. So I feel like we are very attractive for players that might be in a Power 5 conference that want a bigger role, or someone that might be in a lower level conference in the Atlantic 10 that wants to test themselves in a higher level of competition. So we're going to be involved in the transfer market in a deep, deep way. But man, there's nothing better than watching a high school player go through his journey of his sophomore, junior, senior year, really getting to know him and the family. So I think as we move forward, we will be a hybrid of both. We'll use the transfer portal in a way that makes sense, and we'll want to recruit great high school basketball players to come to Hawk Hill and be a part of this unbelievable story that is St. Joe's basketball. Great question, Richard. Thanks. 50. Woo! Okay. This next question comes from Austin, and he asked this via Instagram. He wants to know, can you please bring back the black jerseys? This is your lucky day, Austin. The 2021 Hawks will rock those black jerseys, and we are really excited to do that. It's been asked literally for about a year since I took over the job, because I'll get a little bold with the gear. We want to do that. This is one area where Jill and I have been aligned from day one. One of the many areas where Jill and I have been aligned from day one is just how important branding is. This new deal with Nike is going to give us an opportunity to do some really cool things that showcase not only the great story that is St. Joe's basketball, but also how do we make our university shown in the light that it deserves to be shown. So there's a combination of a real edge and a boldness that attracts the younger generation. And this stuff is important. These guys pay attention to that, but also speaks to the excellence and the history that is St. Joseph's University and, of course, St. Joe's basketball. So we cannot wait to rock those black jerseys. Obviously, we'll have the crimson and we got to have the gray because that's what we do. But we are super excited to bring back the black. Great question, Austin. 40. There we go. Okay. Our third and final question comes via Twitter by a guy who is claiming his name is Coach Medium Well. And he says, Coach, do you have any books that you are reading or any favorites to recommend? Great question. And I love to read. My staff, I probably drive them crazy because I'm constantly reciting books or referencing books all the time. I just love to read. I love to learn. Books are such a great way to keep our brains sharp. I heard Coach George Raveling, the great George Raveling, speak one time, and he talked about the fact that he reads 5 books at a time to just keep him on edge and have a constant flow of information and creativity flowing through his brain. And I decided when the new year began to try to do that. So I've strategically placed different books throughout my house, and then I had one that I traveled with on our road games that I would read all the time. So I'm going to bring you in and show you a few of the books that I'm reading right now. The first book, is The Infinite Game. This describes how to have a lens. Like, you can't always control what is going on in your life or what type of business you're in or what are the circumstances around you, but do you look through it in a finite lens or do you look through it in an infinite lens? And this has been a great book so far. I'm about halfway through this one. This was a book that was recommended to me on how to grow and mature in your marriage for all us husbands. This has been pretty cool, pretty eye-opening. It's called Sacred Marriage. I am big into food and nutrition, and there was a time in my life where I started a 30-day vegan challenge and actually enjoyed it and went into 60 days and tried it. Learned a lot, changed a lot of things, provided a lot of energy. So I've used this shutdown in this COVID-19 pandemic to begin that again. So I ordered the No Meat Athlete Cookbook. I'm driving my wife crazy by giving her some pretty hard recipes to make for myself right now. And then a leadership book that I picked up in the airport on a way to go recruiting a certain young man in the state of Florida, Learning to Lead Like Jesus. Good book about principles such as accountability, teachability, relationships, forgiveness. This has been pretty cool. And then over the last few years, these are just a few of my favorites. I'm going to give you 3 of them. This is a book that was given to me as a gift from one of the guys on the Philadelphia 76ers. It's called Super Bosses. It's pretty cool. This is a book that was given to me in the early 2000s that I did not read until this past summer, and it actually came in very handy this season. I've referenced it a lot. The name of the book is Confidence and talks about how do winning streaks begin, how do losing streaks begin, how do winning streaks end, how do you end losing streaks, and it's pretty cool. If you have some revisionist history, you can go back in here, and it talks a lot about the Eagles when Jeffrey Lurie took it over and then when they hired Andy Reid and some of the things they did to begin their culture. I think this is a pretty neat book. And one of my favorites that I've really ever read is a book called Thirst. And this is a book, it's a true story. Great story of redemption. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit, this is a great book. If you're wondering how you can try to give back to society, another great story here, the Book of Thirst. Coach Medium Well, I hope I just cooked up some pretty cool books for you to order. Till the next time we do the Deep 3. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay well. Hawk Hill, Philadelphia.